My teaching philosophy has somewhat changed and somewhat stayed the same since I started my student teaching. It's changed in the fact that I had preconceived notions that all tests and quizzes were a one-shot deal. Like, you took it, whatever score you got was the score you had. In the classroom that I'm in now, my mentor teacher strongly believes in giving them a chance to fix their mistakes. So when they take a quiz, they raise their hand, tell us what they're done. We come by, we check their answers, and any answers that they get wrong, they have the opportunity to go back through and fix and change. Because it could be a simple calculation error, and if that's the case, then they understand the process. They just made a simple calculation error, so why shouldn't they be able to switch and fix their mistake? I'd say the same in the way that I have always been big on student-directed learning. And in this classroom, we really encourage them to start the discussion, to run the discussion, the lesson is based around them and what they need. So who better to run it than the students themselves? Obviously, we're there to guide them and help them along the way, but we really like to see them take initiative and be in charge of their own learning. We started out, the first 8 weeks or so of my student teaching was online. And it was really hard, I'm not gonna lie. It was difficult, but we came up with a lot of cool tools on technology to help us get through that. And so that was really cool. One of the tools that we still use now, we are back in the classroom now, we have been for about a month and a half. One of the tools that we use is called iReady. And it's a really good tool. It's used for reading and math. They can take a diagnostic and it differentiates the instructions to where they're at. There's some kids, I'm in a 5th grade classroom, there's some kids that are in 2nd grade for math and reading, or 2nd grade in math and 4th grade in reading. Like, it's all different, but it differentiates it based on what they need. And that is something that we use every day. That is something that they're to do at home. They have to do 2 math lessons and 2 reading lessons every week. So it helps them build up to where they're supposed to be. So if they're not at that 5th grade, grade level, it'll scaffold them and help them get up to that point. So I think that is really good, and that's something that's so essential in our classroom, especially when we have those lower kids who aren't quite up to the grade level yet. We are also really big on teaching the students to advocate for themselves. If they don't understand something, if they don't have the proper materials that they need, we really make sure that they know that they need to let us know. They need to tell us what they need. We also always harp on encouraging other students in the classroom. So if someone is trying to answer a question and they can't quite find the right words, or they're struggling a little bit, we teach those students to be like, it's okay, you got it. Like, encourage them and help them, not make them feel so embarrassed that they don't know the answer. And that's something that we really harp on. We also really focus on seeing the student as a whole, not just what their weaknesses or their strengths are. Seeing them as a whole, taking their weaknesses and building it into their strengths so that they can make their weaknesses more strong. And we really like to have that sense of community. We are always contacting parents. Wednesdays in our school district, we don't have in-person learning, but we do send out weekly reports to the parents to make sure that the parents know what they're on top of, what missing assignments they have, what scores they have, how they're doing in class, all that sorts of stuff. So we really harp on making sure we can stay connected with the parents and the students, seeing them as a whole, making sure that the whole class is supporting each other, and really work on them practicing their active listening by repeating what a student said before them. So if one student says, hey, this is what I think for this answer, another student can either give a thumbs up that they agree, thumbs down they disagree, or they can go like this where they want to add on to it, which I think is great, because then that is a great way to start discussion. If we see someone doing this, we can say, hey, what do you want to add? What do you have to add to what they said? And then they have to go and say, hey, I heard what you said about this, I want to add, and then this is my thought. And that is a great way to have all the students feel like their thoughts and their feelings have been heard. And that seems to be really good in the classroom, because the classroom has a really good community type feel. So I think that is really important in the classroom when we are working with our students.